Hello, you're watching NewsX and I'm Vaishali Kohli. Now, the United States on January 7th seized two sanctioned oil tankers, including a Russian-flagged oil tanker that was in the Atlantic. The second tanker was in the international waters in the Caribbean. Russian-flagged vessel Marinera, formerly called Bella, was seized in North Atlantic for violation of US sanctions. US authorities have released two videos filmed by the military following the seizure of the other ship called the Sophia. The two ships taken over join at least two others seized by US forces last month, the Skipper and the Centuries. I have Major General Sudhakarji, geopolitical and strategic affairs expert, joining me on the broadcast. Major General Sudhakarji, welcome. And let's just begin with talking about what we've just told our viewers. How do you feel about what the US is doing currently?
Good morning, Vaishali. Thank you for inviting me for your morning show. Straight answer to your question is not good. It's not a good development taking place because if the rules-based international order is to be followed, then the international commitments and agreements also have to be respected. The UNCLOS, United Nations laws of the seas, this is something of 1982, which the complete world is supposed to follow and abide with. It's a different issue that America is not a signatory, but then there are questions raised when a naval vessel or a commercial vessel of Russian origin is being tracked by a Coast Guard naval resource of the US and thereafter intercepted with the hot insertion by helicopter operation. It calls for many questions to be answered. So under these circumstances, they may have imposed, the US may have imposed restrictions and sanctions or some guideline after Maduro has been captured with regard to selling of Venezuela oil. But the fact of the matter is, the day it is, the ink is yet to dry, and there are some vessels which would have been actually taking Venezuela oil for transportation to a future destination. It is to be seen as to where it was heading to. Then the true light will come out. However, going by the response of the Russia, one of the submarines, one of the warships was present. It's great that there has been no confrontation which has actually resulted. Therefore, at the moment, it is peace and harmony, but it is quite volatile and may turn into a very ugly kind of a standoff between the two powers, global powers. So that is the danger which one has to keep in the back of the mind when such kind of activities are carried out. Back to you, Vaishali.
You know, Major General Sudhakarji, Trump's dictatorship has reached another level because now he's also said that whatever profit is, whatever money that, the Venezuelans get out of the oil that they're going to be selling to the United States, they're only going to be purchasing US products with it. How do you feel about that?
Well, again, not good. In 21st century, if you expect the superpower, which is been the original founding father or founding nation of all the international, almost all the international establishments and organizations, if they flout such kind of rules. Anyway, let's put things in the perspective in relation to the question which you have raised. First and foremost, our viewers or listeners would do well to understand that the USA in the past has always been the largest trading partner of Venezuela, and essentially Venezuela buys the agriculture product and the machinery, etc., from US. But notwithstanding that, it it enjoys a natural resource of 18 to 20% of total global oil reserve on its soil. Now, out of 18 to 20%, only 1% is being drilled. Out of that 1% which is being drilled, 80% goes to China. Where does it, how does it go? It goes from Venezuela to Cuba. At Havana, there are refineries and they are refined, then they are supplied to China. So this is at a huge concession or discounted rate. almost, they say, 50 to 60% of the global price. So, although the oil is not of good quality, it is a hard variety. Processing takes lots of time. You require a specialized kind of machinery and equipment. Still, getting oil, fossil fuel at such discounted price, even if it is, if $60 are per a barrel being sold by the Russian oil fields, then 50 to 60% will bring it down to $30 to $35 a barrel. So that's a huge discount. So this has been going on for past 30 to 40 years between Venezuela and China. One. Number two, you have Hezbollah there, you have Russians present there, you have the Chinese, Iran is present in a great way. So therefore, there are concerns. There are security concerns. Once upon a time, Latin America used to be under the domain and safety and security control of America based on the Monroe Doctrine. But now the complete Latin America is being dominated by China. Call it BRI or anything, and you have Russian footprints expanding by the day. So therefore, these are all matters of concern to America. For him, he is taking a rightful step. But the way it is being done, this definitely is absolutely at conflict with the international rules of law and not acceptable in 21st century. If world has to lead by example, the example has to start from the superpower, not from small, tiny countries around the world. Back to you, Vaishali.
Please stay on with me, Major General